In today's session, I am going to discuss about a very important topic, moving charges and magnetism. In this topic, let us learn about Lorentz magnetic force. Fine. As all of us know that magnetic field is the region around a magnet in which a tiny magnet experiences a force. Fine. Look here. Here is a bar magnet which contains two polarities, north and south. These are all the imaginary magnetic field lines. They run from north to south outside the magnet and south to north inside the magnet. These imaginary magnetic field lines, they never intersect each other. They never cross each other. If they cross each other, it indicates that at the point of intersection, the magnetic field would have two directions. You can draw two tangents at this point. But magnetic field at a single point will have only one direction. So, two magnetic field lines never cross each other. Fine. Suppose if you consider this is a magnetic loop and it is a point. If you draw a tangent at this point, it gives the direction of magnetic field at this point. So by drawing a tangent at a particular point, we can find out the direction of magnetic field at that point. Okay. What is the first property that we learned? Magnetic field lines always run from north to south outside the magnet and south to north inside the magnet. Which is the second property? Magnetic field lines are closed loops, closed curves. Third property, two magnetic field lines never intersect each other. If they did so, at the point of intersection, the magnetic field would have two directions, which is impossible. At one point, magnetic field will have only one direction. And tangent drawn to the magnetic loop at a point gives the direction of magnetic field at that point. So at different points, the direction of the magnetic field would be different. Fine. These are few the properties of magnetic field lines. Okay, coming back to what is magnetic field? Magnetic field is the region. It is the region around a magnet. Here is a magnet. So the region around a magnet in which a tiny magnet, a magnetic compass. A magnetic compass is a tiny magnet which experiences a force. I repeat, magnetic field is the region around a magnet in which a tiny magnet experiences a force. And the magnetic field around a bar magnet is an example of non-uniform magnetic field. Here, near the ends of the magnet, the magnetic field lines are crowded, where the strength of magnetic field would be greater. Here, near the side of the bar magnet, the magnetic field lines are farther. There, the strength of magnetic field would be weaker, lesser. Fine. So, such a pattern of magnetic field lines gives us non-uniform magnetic field. The strength of magnetic field at different points is different. If you consider A horseshoe magnet, north pole here, south pole here. These are two ends of a horseshoe magnet, and here are the magnetic field lines run from north to south. This region is a uniform magnetic field where the strength of magnetic field at every point is same. So this is an example of uniform magnetic field, and the magnetic field lines drawn around a bar magnet is an example of non-uniform magnetic field, because at every point the strength of magnetic field is different. Here at every point the strength of magnetic field would be same. Why? Lorentz says that whenever a charged particle like electron, proton, deuteron moves in the magnetic field, whether it's a non-uniform magnetic field or uniform magnetic field, that charged particle, it experiences a magnetic force. Lorentz says that whenever a charged particle moves in the magnetic field, that charged particle, it experiences a magnetic force. In other words, this magnetic field, it exerts a magnetic force on the moving charged particle. And Lorentz studied that the magnetic force experienced by the charged particle depends on the magnitude of the charge. Suppose here is a uniform magnetic field. A charged particle Q is moving in the magnetic field. When it enters into the magnetic field, it takes a circular path. So, it's very clear that when the charged particle enters into the magnetic field, it experiences a magnetic force, and that magnetic force, it changes the path of charged particle. Okay, the nature of the path of the charged particle, it depends on the angle between the velocity of the charged particle and the external magnetic field in which the charged particle is entering. So, the nature of the path depends on the angle between the velocity and the magnetic field. If the angle between the velocity and the magnetic field is 90 degree, if V and B are perpendicular, then the charged particle will have a circular path. If the velocity and the magnetic field vectors are in the same direction or anti-parallel, if V and B are parallel or anti-parallel, in that case, the charged particle will have a straight line path. Fine. So, Lorentz studied that the charge that experiences the magnetic force, it depends on the magnitude of the charge. Magnitude. Whether that charge is having 1 coulomb, 1 microcoulomb, or 1 millicoulomb, or 1 nanocoulomb. So, if the magnitude is large, then the force exerted by the magnetic field on the charge would also be more. So, the magnetic force experienced by a charge, it depends on the magnitude of the charge. And the force experienced by a charge also depends on the cross product of two vectors, V and B. It also depends on velocity of the charged particle. It also depends on the strength of magnetic field in which the charge is entering. And the magnetic force experienced by the charge also depends on the angle between the velocity and the magnetic field. Sine of angle between the velocity and the magnetic field. So this force depends on four factors. It depends on the magnitude of charge. It depends upon the velocity with which the charge is moving in the magnetic field. It also depends on the strength of the magnetic field in which the charge is moving. It also depends on the angle between the velocity and the magnetic field. Fine. Then Lorentz writes this as Fm is equal to Q V B sine theta. He writes in vector form as Fm is equal to Q. Q is a scalar quantity, and Vb sine theta can be written as V cross B. Just like in 11th class we studied that A cross B is equal to AB sine theta n cap. In a similar way, V cross B is equal to Vb sine theta. We can also write this in vector form as Fm is equal to Q Vb sine theta n cap. So this n cap is a unit vector. It specifies the direction of main vector. So these two are the vector forms of Lorentz force. It's very clear. Whenever a charged particle is moving in a magnetic field, the charged particle experiences magnetic force. And the magnetic force experienced by the charged particle depends on four factors: the magnitude of the charge, the velocity of the charge, and the magnetic field. It also depends on the sign of angle between velocity and the magnetic field. Then how do we find the direction of this magnetic force? By using right hand thumb rule. Okay. This is the hand which is perpendicular to the plane containing vector A and vector B. Okay. This is vector A and this is vector B, and this is A cross B. A cross B. Vector A and vector B are in a plane, and A cross B. Suppose if you assume that this is A cross B, this is vector A and this is vector B. Okay. A cross B is perpendicular to the plane containing vector A and vector B. Here also, this F, the magnetic force, is perpendicular to the plane containing vector V and vector B. Vector V and vector B. This is vector V, velocity of the charge. This is vector B, the magnetic field in which the charge is entering. Vector V and vector B are in the same plane, and perpendicular to this plane there is a force, or in other words, force direction is perpendicular to the plane containing V and B. So this rule is known as right hand thumb rule. Fine. So I can show that if this is vector V and if this is vector B, then this is vector V cross B. So we can write that. Suppose if B cross B If B cross B, just like here, we learned A cross B equal to AB sin theta. B cross A is equal to BA sin of 360 minus theta n cap. So this will be equal to BA means AB. Sin of 360 minus theta is minus sin theta. So B cross A is minus AB sin theta. A cross B is AB sin theta. A cross B is not equal to B cross A. Magnitude may be same, but directions are opposite. So here also, if this is vector B and if this is vector B, this will be B cross B, and the direction of the magnetic force would be vertically downward, like this. This is B cross B, and the direction of magnetic force experienced by the charge is vertically downward. Here V cross B, like this, V cross B, and the direction of the force experienced by the charge will be vertically upward. This is B cross B, the direction of force will be vertically downward. So the direction of force experienced by the charge is found by right hand thumb rule. Remember that vector velocity and vector B, the magnetic field, are in the same plane. These two vectors are lying in the same plane, and perpendicular to this plane there is a quantity which is known as force, or in other words, force is perpendicular to the plane containing vector V and vector B. Fine. So this is about the magnetic force experienced by the charged particle. And I was also talking about the nature of path. If the angle between these two vectors, vector V and vector B, is 0, in this case, Fm will be equal to minus QEB sin theta. Minus QEB sin theta. Minus indicates that the direction of the magnetic field force is downward. In this case, it is plus QEB. Plus indicates the direction of force is vertically upward. Like this. Here, it is like this. This is minus QEB sin theta. This is plus QEB sin theta. So directions are opposite. Then coming to the angle between V and B. If velocity of the charged particle and the magnetic field are in the same direction, for example like this, this is the velocity of the charged particle and the direction of the magnetic field are in the same direction. It means that the charged particle is moving in the direction of magnetic field. The angle between them is 0. The angle between velocity and magnetic field is 0. If theta is 0, then Fm is 0. Because Fm equal to QEB sin theta, sin 0 is 0. That means that charged particle does not experience any force when the charge is moving along the direction of magnetic field or in the direction of magnetic field. It means that charged particle will have a straight line path. What is the nature of path of charged particle? Straight line. For example, if charged particle is moving against the magnetic field in the opposite direction of magnetic field, Say for example, this is the direction of magnetic field and this is the direction of velocity. Charged particle is moving like this, magnetic field is like this. Both are opposite. The angle between them is 180 degree. Theta is 180 degree. Here these two vectors are parallel. Here these two vectors are anti-parallel. Theta equal to 0 means two vectors are parallel. Theta equal to 180 means two vectors are anti-parallel. As we know that sine of 180 is 0. Sine 0 is 0. Sine of 180 is also 0. Therefore, Fm is 0. What does it mean? It means that whenever a charged particle is moving against the magnetic field, it does not experience any magnetic force. What is its nature? What is the nature of path of charged particle? Again, it would be straight line. Yes, what happens to the path of charged particle? When the charged particle is moving perpendicular to the magnetic field. Say for example, this is the magnetic field and like this, the charged particle is moving. The charged particle is moving perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Then here theta is 90 degree, sine 90 is 1. Then this charge will experience maximum force. It will experience maximum force, QEB, magnitude of charge, velocity of charge, strength of magnetic field. Magnetic field is also a vector quantity like velocity. And its SI unit is Tesla. What is the direction of magnetic field? Always north to south. What is the SI unit of magnetic field? Tesla. A name of scientist. To honor him, this Tesla is named as the SI unit of the strength of magnetic field. So B is the symbol of magnetic field and magnetic field is a vector quantity. Its direction is always from north to south and its SI unit is Tesla. Fine. So this is all about the Lorentz magnetic force. Fine. If this charged particle is moving in electric field, what happens to the force? That's very simple. That is called Lorentz electric force. This is all about Lorentz magnetic force. When a charged particle is moving in electric field like this, here is an external electric field, uniform or non-uniform electric field. If a charged particle is moving in an electric field, the charged particle experiences electric force. Just like when a charged particle is moving in a magnetic field, how it experiences magnetic force. In a similar way, when the charged particle is moving in the electric field, it experiences electric force. And that electric force is equal to Q times E. What is Q? The magnitude of this charge. What is E? E is the strength of this electric field. So Q into E. Here, the force experienced by the charged particle, it does not depend on the angle. Suppose, if the charged particle is made to move in both the electric and magnetic field, just like this. Like this. Suppose here is a electric field, here is a magnetic field. We have set up the electric field and the magnetic field in such a way that they are crossed each other. perpendicular to this. Perpendicular to this. Suppose if you assume that this is electric field and this magnetic field, perpendicular to this, there is a particle moving vertically downward or vertically upward. Then this charged particle, it experiences both electric and magnetic force. Fine. So here is a crossed electric and magnetic field. Perpendicular to this, a charged particle is moving. Perpendicular to this, a charged particle is moving. Say, this is electric field. This is electric field, and this is magnetic field, and this is the charged particle moving. All three are perpendicular, mutually perpendicular. This indicates magnetic field, this indicates electric field, this indicates velocity of the charged particle. All three are mutually perpendicular to each other. So, a charged particle is moving in a crossed electric and magnetic field. Then this charged particle, it experiences both force. Lorentz writes this as F, the total force experienced by the charged particle would be Fe plus Fm, or Fm plus Fe, Fe plus Fm, or like this, F is equal to Fm plus Fe. Then he substitute the value of Fm. What is Fm? Fm is nothing but QVB sin theta. He writes this as in scalar form. F is equal to Fm means QVB sin theta. Then Fe means QE. QE. Okay. Then he writes this in vector form as F is equal to, this is Q into V cross P. That V cross V is nothing but VB sin theta. Then this QE he writes as QE. This is known as the combined form of Lorentz force. When a charged particle is made to move in a crossed electric and magnetic field, the charged particle would experience both electric and magnetic force, which is given by this equation. Fine. Now, we shall move upon another topic, that's about when a current carrying conductor is kept in the magnetic field, the conductor also experiences magnetic force. That's our next topic. A current carrying conductor kept in a magnetic field, the conductor experiences a magnetic force. Look here. Here we have a current carrying conductor. Here is a conductor, a copper conductor, aluminium conductor. The direction of the current is from positive terminal to negative terminal, and the flow of electrons is from negative to positive. Flow of electrons from negative to positive. And this current carrying conductor kept in the magnetic field. It is kept in the magnetic field. This is magnetic field. The magnetic field and the current are having some angle. The length of the conductor is L. L is the length of the conductor. L is the length of the conductor. A is the cross-sectional area of the conductor. Cross-sectional area of the conductor. L is the length of the conductor. Yes, there only one charged particle was moving in the magnetic field, but here all these surface electrons are moving in the magnetic field. The entire conductor is kept in the magnetic field. That means every charged particle is moving in the magnetic field. Every charged particle is experiencing magnetic force. So how many charges are there in this conductor? How many surface charges are there? Q is equal to total number of charges that are participating in the transmission of electricity, the mobile electrons. Q, the total number of charges is equal to number density. Means the number of electrons in a unit volume into the total volume of the conductor. A into L gives us the total volume of the conductor into E, every positive charge or every negative charge. Positive charges appear to move from positive terminal to negative terminal. Electrons appear to move from negative terminal to positive terminal. N is number density, number of electrons in a unit volume. A is the cross-sectional area. L is the length. So Al gives the volume of the conductor, and E is the positive charge or the negative charge. Fine. So total force experienced by this current carrying conductor is equal to Q into Vd into B into sin theta. As we learned that F is equal to QVB sin theta. QVB sin. Q means it was only one charge. Here Q means this many charges are there. And V was the velocity of one charge. Here Vd is the drift velocity of the electrons. Drift velocity. Every electron experiences drift velocity. What is drift velocity? The velocity, this is an average velocity with which the electrons are moving when an electric field is applied across the conductor. The average velocity attained by the electrons when an electric field is applied across the conductor. B is the magnetic field. Theta is the angle between drift velocity and the magnetic field. This is drift velocity, Vd. Fine. Now you substitute the value of Q here. N, E, A, L, Vd sin theta. As all of us learned that the current that is flowing through the conductor, I is equal to Ne, A, Vd. This we learned in the topic current electricity, number density, charge of the electron, cross-sectional area of the conductor, drift velocity of the electron. So substitute NeAVD as I. Then this equation becomes F is equal to NeAVD is nothing but I. So we get IL NeAVD. One more is left here, that is B sin theta. Suppose you put NeAVD as I, we get IL B sin theta. Or in other words, we can write Bill sin theta. Bill sin theta. In vector form, how do we write? We write F is equal to B cross IL B cross IL. Current is a scalar quantity, but current element is a vector quantity. I into L is known as current element. So B cross IL is Bill sin theta. Bill sin theta. So what is this? This is the magnetic force experienced by the entire current carrying conductor when it is kept in the magnetic field. Fine. So this completes about the force experienced by current carrying conductor. Fine. Now let us discuss about the motion of charged particle in a magnetic field. Motion of charged particle in a magnetic field. Motion of charge in magnetic field. Okay. So we have here magnetic field. Every cross indicates that the direction of the magnetic field, is into the pole. The magnetic field lines are entering into the plane. Uniform magnetic field. Spacing between two lines is same. So at every point the strength of magnetic field is same. When a charged particle with velocity enters into the magnetic field like this, then it takes a circular path. Because the direction of velocity and the direction of magnetic field are perpendicular. Like this, they are perpendicular. This indicates velocity, this indicates magnetic field. So charge experiences maximum force and it takes a circular path. When angle between V and B is perpendicular, charge experiences maximum force and the nature of the path is circular. If it is a circular motion, if the charge got circular motion, then to have circular motion, some force is required. To keep any object in the circular path, centripetal force is required, as we studied in class 11. So here, for this charge moving in a circular path, centripetal force is required. Which external agent is providing that centripetal force? Yes, you are right. The magnetic force. The magnetic force is providing the necessary centripetal force for the charge to move in the circular path. Just like for a satellite to revolve around the planet in the circular path, how gravitational force of the planet provides the necessary centripetal force for the satellite to move in the circular track, in the circular path. In a similar way, for this charge to move in the circular path, the magnetic force provides the necessary centripetal force. When a car takes a turn, frictional force provides the necessary centripetal force. For the satellite, gravitational force provides the necessary centripetal force. For the charge, the magnetic force provides the necessary centripetal force. So therefore, we can write that. The magnetic force is equal to the necessary centripetal force. Okay. What is the magnetic force? QVB sin theta. What is the centripetal force in 11th class we studied? mv square by r. As we studied that, here in this case, this magnetic force would be maximum when the angle between V and B are perpendicular. Theta is equal to 90 degree. Sin 90 is 1. Therefore, QVB is equal to mv square by r. V is nothing but here velocity. Velocity of the charge. The velocity of the charge. The direction of the velocity is shown by drawing a tangent. Velocity of the charge keep on changing in terms of direction at every point. So this is called the rate of change of velocity. The rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. So this circular motion is always an accelerated motion. Even though the magnitude of velocity may be same, constant, but the velocity is changing in terms of direction. So the rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. Circular motion is an accelerated motion. Fine. QV be equal to mv square by r. V cancels. What we get is r is equal to mv by qv. R is equal to mv by q. What is r? R is the radius of the circular path. What is m? M is the mass of the charge. Mass of electron, or the mass of proton, or the mass of neutron, or the mass of helium ion. The charge. And what is Q? The magnitude of the charge. What is V? The strength of the magnetic field in which the charge is moving. Right? Then, what is its angular velocity? What is the angular velocity? How do we calculate angular velocity? As we know that the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity, V is equal to r omega. That angular velocity, rate of change of angular displacement, theta here keep on changing, 0 degree, 30 degree, 90. So as the displacement, angular displacement is changing with the time, the particle has angular velocity. Rate of change of angular displacement 0, 30, 45, 90. This angle keep on changing. So it has angular velocity, and the angular velocity is always along the axis. Fine. V equal to r omega. Then substitute this value of V. V is equal to, what is the value of V here? V is equal to r qb by m. R qb by m. Substitute that value of, this is r, that is V. Substitute the value of V here. V is nothing but r qb by m is equal to r omega. R cancels. What we get is omega is equal to qb by m. Omega. We know the relationship between omega and nu, the angular frequency and the linear frequency. Angular velocity is also called that. Angular velocity is also called angular frequency. So we write that angular frequency as 2 pi nu. Omega is 2 pi nu. Nu is linear frequency. Relation between angular frequency and linear frequency. qb by m. Then how do we write nu? Nu is equal to qb divided by 2 pi m. Then what is nu? The linear frequency. What is the relation between linear frequency and time period? The reciprocal of time period is known as linear frequency. So T should be equal to 1 by nu. So T is equal to 2 pi nu divided by qb, because nu is equal to 1 upon T. So we got time period, time taken to complete one revolution. T is equal to 2 pi nu by qb. So this completes the motion of charged particle in a magnetic field. Thank you.